Welcome to CognitionChunks. This is Pythagorean Tuning versus Equal Temperament, a comparative analysis. The Pythagorean tuning and equal temperament are two distinct systems of tuning in music that have their own set of advantages, disadvantages, and contextual utilities. Here, we'll embark on a comparative analysis to explore the complexities and implications of these two systems. Historical context. 1. Pythagorean tuning. This system dates back to ancient Greece and is attributed to Pythagoras. It's a tuning system that mainly focuses on perfect fifths, using a ratio of 3:2. 2. Equal temperament. This is a more modern system that became popular during the Baroque period, coinciding with the rise of keyboard instruments and more complex harmonic structures in music. Mathematical foundation. 1. Pythagorean tuning uses simple whole number ratios to create intervals, primarily the perfect fifth, 3:2, perfect fourth, 4:3, and octave, 2:1. 2. Equal temperament. In the 12-tone equal temperament, each note is sqrt 12, 2 times the frequency of the note preceding it. This creates an equal division of the octave into 12 parts. Tuning process. 1. Pythagorean tuning, derived from stacking perfect fifths. You start with a fundamental note and generate other notes by repeatedly multiplying the fundamental frequency by March 2nd. 2. Equal temperament, calculated using logarithms or other mathematical tools to divide the octave equally. Generally accomplished using electronic tuners in modern practice. Musical intervals. 1. Pythagorean tuning generates very pure-sounding perfect fifths but results in less consonant major thirds. 2. Equal temperament compromises the purity of all intervals to some extent to allow for greater flexibility in key modulation. Consonance and dissonance. 1. Pythagorean tuning. Simple integer ratios lead to a high degree of consonance for specific intervals but can also produce more prominent dissonances in others. 2. Equal temperament levels out consonance and dissonance across all intervals, which allows for greater harmonic complexity but at the cost of slightly impure intervals. Modulation and harmonic complexity. 1. Pythagorean tuning, less suited for music that modulates between different keys because it focuses on the purity of individual intervals. 2. Equal temperament allows for smooth modulation between keys, thereby facilitating complex harmonic structures and progressions. Limitations. 1. Pythagorean tuning suffers from the Pythagorean comma, a discrepancy that arises after stacking 12 perfect fifths. 2. Equal temperament. No intervals, other than the octave, are perfectly in tune, meaning there's always a slight beating or roughness to the sound. Instrumental applications. 1. Pythagorean tuning, often used in string instruments and choral music where pure intervals are more easily appreciated. 2. Equal temperament, predominantly used in keyboard instruments and other fixed-pitch instruments where modulation and harmonic complexity are essential. Philosophical and aesthetic considerations. 1. Pythagorean tuning, often linked with notions of mathematical and cosmic harmony, such as the Musica Universalis. 2. Equal temperament, seen as a utilitarian compromise to accommodate the increasing complexity and globalization of musical forms and scales. Conclusion. While Pythagorean tuning emphasizes the purity of specific intervals, deriving its roots from mathematical ratios, equal temperament focuses on the practical need for modulation and harmonic complexity. Each system has its own set of merits and demerits that make them more suitable for particular musical contexts and styles. The choice between these tuning systems often depends on the musical repertoire, the instruments involved, and the aesthetic objectives of the performers and composers. Understanding the intricacies of these tuning systems can deepen one's appreciation of the complex relationship between mathematics and music, a relationship that has fascinated and puzzled humans for millennia. Acoustical and psychoacoustical dimensions. 1. Harmonic series. Pythagorean tuning aligns closely with the natural harmonic series, particularly for intervals like the perfect fifth. On the other hand, equal temperament approximates the harmonic series but doesn't align perfectly. 2. Beating and roughness. In equal temperament, the slight mistuning in most intervals introduces a phenomenon called beating or roughness in the sound. Pythagorean tuning avoids this in certain intervals but exacerbates it in others, like the tritone. 3. Timbral considerations. Pythagorean intervals can resonate more naturally with the harmonic overtones of an instrument, providing a warm timbre. Equal temperament may not offer such resonance but provides uniformity. Cultural and ethnomusicological contexts. 1. Western classical music. Equal temperament became the standard largely to suit the complex harmonic language of Western classical music, particularly from the Baroque period onward. 2. Non-Western music. Pythagorean tuning finds its application in various non-Western music traditions that do not require complex modulations, such as Indian classical music. Genres and styles. 1. Baroque and earlier. Music from these periods is often performed today using historically informed tunings, which can include Pythagorean tuning. 2. Jazz and popular music. The flexibility of equal temperament accommodates the genre's complex chords and frequent modulations. Technical implications for musicians. 1. Intonation. Musicians playing variable pitch instruments like the violin often adjust their tuning in real time, switching between Pythagorean intervals and equal temperament depending on the musical context. 2. Keyboard instruments. Equal temperament is necessary for instruments like the piano, where the tuning is fixed. 3. Skill level. Advanced musicians often have an intuitive understanding of these nuances and can adapt their tuning techniques accordingly. Technological impacts. 1. Electronic instruments. The digital age has made it easier to experiment with different tuning systems. Software synthesizers often allow users to switch between different temperaments easily. 2. Auto-tuning software. These are generally set to equal temperament but can be customized for other tunings, allowing for creative experimentation. Mathematical and computational models. 1. Group theory. Both systems can be represented using mathematical group theory, offering insights into the structural coherence or lack thereof within each system. 2. Fourier analysis. The sound wave of each note can be decomposed into its constituent frequencies, revealing how closely each tuning system approximates the harmonic series. Philosophical implications. 1. Platonic ideals. Pythagorean tuning embodies the Platonic ideal of objective truth and beauty, manifested through mathematical perfection. 2. Pragmatism and relativism. Equal temperament represents a more pragmatic, relativistic view, accommodating the complexities and imperfections of real-world musical practice. Conclusion. The choice between Pythagorean tuning and equal temperament essentially boils down to a trade-off between mathematical purity and practical versatility. While Pythagorean tuning offers intervals of great purity, it falls short in accommodating the harmonic complexity and key modulations that equal temperament allows. Understanding the complexities and limitations of these systems provides invaluable insights into the multidimensional relationships between mathematics, acoustics, culture, and musical aesthetics. What an incredible sonic expedition we've just been on, diving into the intricacies of Pythagorean tuning and equal temperament. This is CognitionChunks, where we take dense morsels of knowledge, toss them into a blender of analysis, and serve up a smoothie that's both nutritious for your brain and delightful for your curiosity. Today's episode explored the contrasts between two significant tuning systems that have shaped musical history: Pythagorean tuning and equal temperament. Who would have thought that centuries-old tuning techniques could have such a profound impact on our modern musical landscape? We journeyed back in time to ancient Greece, where Pythagoras was tinkering with ratios and string lengths, giving us the foundations of musical mathematics. Then, we swung back to the Renaissance and later eras, examining how the system of equal temperament emerged as a response to the limitations and eccentricities of Pythagorean tuning. With interviews from music theorists, mathematicians, and even neuroscientists, we've delved into the why and how behind each system's unique set of harmonics and dissonances. What's more, we explored the psychological and cultural factors that have influenced the adoption of these systems. Why is equal temperament so prevalent in Western music? How do these systems fare in non-Western musical traditions? And, perhaps most importantly, what does our preference for one system over the other reveal about human cognition and sensory perception? Don't forget about our deep dive into the world of acoustics and psychoacoustics, areas of study that are often underemphasized but play a critical role in how we perceive sound. Understanding the science behind these tuning systems illuminates not just our musical sensibilities but also our neural circuitry. We hope you've enjoyed this analysis as much as we've loved putting it together. This episode has been a feast of frequencies, ratios, and waveforms, all designed to tune your brain to the subtle yet profound impact of musical tuning on our collective culture and individual experiences. So, as we bring this episode to a close, let's leave on this thought: whether you're strumming a guitar, hitting a key on a piano, or simply humming a tune, remember that there's a rich history and fascinating science woven into each musical note. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss another chunk of cognitive delight. We've got lots more intriguing topics lined up for you, each packed with a perfect blend of academic rigor and nerdy humor. Thanks for joining us today. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep those cognitive gears turning. Was this accurate? Did GPT just make up a bunch of stuff that does not exist or does not make sense? Find out next time in the CognitionChunks follow-up.